to this most awaited event, PLH GITA course. Thank you, and we'd like to welcome you with a big round of applause. So, all of us are seeking for some or the other guidance, right? We all need a mentor, whether it be our professional lives, whether it be our emotional needs, whether it be any other kind of need. So we all need mentors, and we find all kinds of mentors everywhere. And Bhagavad Gita, somebody who gives us the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that's the spiritual mentorship, which comes directly from the speaker as it is. So today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita as it is. We're going to discuss from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Why it says as it is? Because it is as it is spoken by the speaker himself. And who is the speaker? Lord Krishna himself. So we are elated to welcome you today for today's program. So we'll start with a small kirtan. But before we start with the kirtan, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome today's mentor, our guide, and the speaker for today's evening, His Grace Sudhir Gopal Prabhu. So His Grace Sudhir Gopal Prabhu is a pass out of IIT Delhi, and he holds a senior position in HP, Hewlett Packard. Although we always think that he is just part-time with HP and full-time with us. So it's a pleasure to have Prabhuji with us. He has mentored many families in Bangalore, and COVID has really been a blessing in a way. We've been connected to so many other regions of India and states of India, and Prabhuji has been mentoring many devotees and prospective devotees just for the sake that everybody feels that real happiness which comes from connection with the Supreme. So without further delay, we'd welcome Prabhuji by chanting. Usually we say hip hip hooray, but here we are going to say Hari Bol with both the hands up. So 3 times we'll say Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Jai. So we'd like to start with the kirtan, and this is our small team. This is Rupali Mataji, Pasari Prabhu, this is Ashish Prabhu, myself Manjulali Gopidasi. Devashish Prabhu has gone to the temple to fetch our prasadam from ISKCON. And we have Shweta Mataji and Nishi Mataji. So I'd request Prabhuji to garland our dear President, so Mr. Ram, because of whom this has been possible. So Mr. Ram has been phenomenal in helping us and promoting these kind of activities. May I request Mr. Ram to come?
We'll give to the speaker. That is all the way come rather than me receiving it.
So it's Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I request Ashish Prabhu to please garland our dear speaker, His Grace Sudhir Gopal Prabhu. Start with a melodious kirtan. This kirtan is the way to connect to Krishna, and this is the way we call out to Krishna, and this is the direct phone number of Krishna. So how we usually do is Prabhuji will chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he will sing, and we never sing with the main lead singer, we follow him. So that way we can do both Shravanam, which is hearing, and chanting. So when Prabhuji is chanting, we hear, and when we are chanting, Prabhuji does the hearing. So may I request you to chant, Prabhuji? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Is it audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishata Sunyavati Paschata Desakarni. So maybe we can chant this together. All together we'll chant this prayer. Please repeat after me. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Longer heart. Loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, everybody. Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this wonderful ecstatic kirtan, and what a wonderful audience. All of you sang very, very well, glorifying Lord Hari Krishna. So now may I request all the children to come on this side. Can all the children please come here? We have a separate class for the children. We have activities, and then in the end we have a surprise by the children. So I'm not going to speak too much about that. So it's a surprise. Children, please come here. Yeah. Shivani, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. So, first of all, it's our honor, it's our privilege. We are really humbled to share something on Bhagavad Gita, especially with audience like this. So it's August Assembly. It's a really humbling experience, because it's not easy to speak on Bhagavad Gita, because this is the song that has come directly from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. But such a nice atmosphere. Of course, the original Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, not in an air-conditioned theater. Lord had transformed a battlefield into a classroom. So now, with all of your enthusiasm, you have been transformed even a theater to a classroom. So yes, we are in a journey. So especially maybe we can just recite this beautiful sloka, the verse from this Upanishad, which says that we have to move from the darkness to the light. Especially whenever we conduct a program, and it's full of light. Once I came to this room, it is so dark, right? But definitely, right? At least let's hope and let's pray that how our heart gets lightened. Yes, maybe the surrounding is not so light. Because why? Like we don't prefer so much darkness. Because in the darkness, we cannot see anything. Especially our acharyas, they give a very beautiful analogy. You have seen lotus flower, especially Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. They are glorified in a very beautiful way, because this Lord is supremely beautiful. He is the supreme, and whatever the best we have in this material world, we compare that with the Supreme Lord. That with the lotus or with the moon and so on. So Lord is glorified as Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Namo Pankaja Maline, Namo Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangrahe. Queen Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, she is praying to Lord Krishna, Oh Lord, Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, your navel is like a lotus flower. Namo Pankaja Maline, you are a beautiful lotus flower garland. Namo Pankaja Netra, your eyes are like lotus. And your lotus feet also lotus. Namaste Pankajangrahe. And at the same time, have you seen the lotus in the night? Have you seen? No. Lotus blooms during the daytime. With the presence of the sun. Similarly, our acharyas are saying that if we want to see the Lord, or if we want to hear His words, we have to awaken ourselves. In the darkness, we cannot see the Lord. We cannot hear Lord's voice. Because we are covered. Thank you. Yeah, please. Thank you very much for enlightening us. Yes, this is what we want to go. Where do you want to go? Can all of you recite this verse? Okay, where we are saying that yes, we want from tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. We want to go from the darkness to the light, and we want to go from this unreal temporary world to the eternal world. And where there is the death, because this is called Mrityu Loka, we want to go to the Amrita Loka, the Param Vaikuntha Dham. That's our vision, that's our aspiration. And we'll talk about how we go there. Okay, so let's chant this verse from the Upanishad. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya. Soma Jyotirgamaya. Mrutyurma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Santi Santi Santi. So yes, we want to bring that peace. We want to hear that Lord's voice. We want to have darshan of the Lord. We want to go to that supreme abode through this. Not only we make ourselves divine, but also our purpose is to make our surroundings also divine. That's the beauty our Vedic scriptures talk about. It's not only how we make ourselves really pleasing to ourselves, but also pleasing to others as well. So with that, I would really like to understand what exactly is your expectation from this Gita course. What are the questions that you might have that you would like to get the answer Definitely, if you go to a diamond shop, then you're trying to buy diamond. If you want to go to a mall, maybe you want to go, buy some grocery or some nice clothes. So if you have come to a Gita course, definitely you would not look for, right, how do I really get my best promotion in my company, or how do I ensure that my maid stays for forever without any complaint. So what kind of queries that you have, right, when you have come to this Gita course? Any questions, comments? I'd love to hear from you. I would like to keep it in interactive because we have so many wonderful devotees here. And I would like to hear from you. Any thoughts, any comments? Yes?
Yeah, one thing I would like to see that how we can use Gita's wisdom to manage your stress and few other things in your life.
Excellent, excellent. What is your good name, sir?
Ravindra Singh.
Ravindra Singh. Like he's saying that, how do we really apply? Yes, we always hear, even recently we hear, even our Prime Minister talks about, this is the best thing that we can really offer it to anybody as a gift, and this is the best thing that we can accept as a gift from anybody, right? And not only now, from the time immemorial, right? Everybody talks about this Bhagavad Gita, right? And isn't it fair or justice, right? At least we know what exactly is there in Bhagavad Gita, right? And not only we read Bhagavad Gita, but most importantly, that is the most important thing he said, is that how do you really apply that? Because most of the times, yes, in Google also, right? If you Google it or right, you get it from anywhere, this Bhagavad Gita, right? But yes, there is a plenty of information everywhere, right? But the focus, what you would like to impact or what you would like to imbibe is the transformation. How that information from the head really goes to the heart, and then it really gets transported to the hand. There has to be synchronization of the head, heart and hand. It should not be like anything that we learn, right? It's not that, okay, we don't have any exam for Gita. That, okay, we just learn and then we just reproduce that to get some marks. No, that's not our purpose. Our purpose is that, how do you really understand what is the mood? Through which Arjuna could understand, through which all the sages, saints, the philosophers, and everybody could realize it and get the benefit out of it, right? And how personally we can get benefit out of it, and how we can really act on these principles of Bhagavad Gita, taking care of all these regular problems, the mundane problems that we have. Very good, thank you, sir. Okay, any other thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone has some good experience and the bad experience in the life.
Yes.
But usually what happens, most of the people think about the bad experience, and they, while thinking, they go in the cycle way.
Yes, yes.
Keep on thinking, because how to break that cycle?
Very
to come
good.
out from the thought.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
This is actually most of the, I also talk to some of my friends. They
Yes.
also say once they enter in the cycle, they don't know how to come out.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Excellent, excellent. What is a good name, sir? Once again?
Anil Pathak.
Anil Pathak. Okay. Thank you very much. And I say, question is that, how, yes, somehow or other, right, we have come into this quagmire or, just got stuck in that spider web. But then how do you really come out of it? Yes, we know there are plenty of problems, but how do you really come out? People talk about, right, there is a good karma, there is a bad karma, there is a sakarma, akarma, vikarma. Oh, it has happened because you have done some sinful activities. But how do you really come out of it? Are we really talking about some activities that we do just patch up, right? Somebody has had some wound, and then what do you say? Oh, no, okay, just somebody comes and just, okay, it'll be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. Or somebody else, no, you just put a band-aid, everything will be okay. A lot of people are giving different, patch-up works, right? But what is that perfect solution? Can anybody tell? And everybody tells that, no, my solution is the best solution. Everybody, you ask anybody who say that, no, his solution is better than mine. Everybody says, that is better. How do I really take care of my disease now? Excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. And this is the beauty. This is what exactly we want to really hear from all of you, right? Accordingly, we can set the context, for next couple of sessions. Thank you, Pathak sir. Anybody else? Yes, please, madam.
For me, it's like my mind keeps on doing multitasking a lot because of so many things keeps on happening, right? I just want to understand, by using the Gita's wisdom, that how can we keep it more balanced and not do so much of multitasking.
Yes.
Create a lot of mental
Wonderful,
stress.
wonderful. All of you are saints here. Having wonderful queries. Right? Like this is once again a wonderful question. Right? Like, always you talk about our past, which is history, or we talk about really future, which is mystery, but we don't hardly focus on the present, which is a really gift to us. Right? Hardly we talk about it. And then once we are here, right, at the present moment, we think about, okay, what I need to prepare for the dinner, or tomorrow is Monday, what will be there in the office, or I'm here, I'm just thinking about, okay, why this slide is white only. Right? Mind is going everywhere. Right? But how to have that mindfulness, how to have that sense of being present. Right? Because thanks to our digital gadgets, right, you have so many options, right? Like if you want to see something also, right, either like YouTube or Facebook or Insta will give you 100 other options. No, this is better. Please try it out. Right? Our mind is so much diverted, so much deviated. Through the we're not able to focus. And especially as a mother, we can really appreciate, or as a father, we can really appreciate what our kids are going through at this moment or for the last 2 years. They're so much distracted. Right? But definitely, as you asked, I think you start asking for ourselves. First, we need to implement it in ourselves. Then, if mother or father, always kind of switching the channels in the TV, we cannot expect that kid really not to kind of have the mobile or the notepad and really be steady in their studies. It's not possible, right? We have to lead them with example. And how to do that? How to really control our mind, right? And like whatever we have discussed so far, for everything, right, we'll try to go in detail. Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions? Any other thoughts? Yes? Okay. Because still I feel that, like, devotees are here, a lot of, sitting in the front seat, because otherwise, in the bus, usually we sit in the front, and in the in the classroom, everybody would like to sit in the back, and in the party, everybody would be in the center. But because of all of your sages, all of you are sitting in the front. Yes, sir.
So along with the stability in the life, right? How do we manage relationships? Excellent. Number of relationships.
Excellent.
How to keep them balanced?
Excellent.
One of the
Excellent.
things
Excellent.
I would at least like to
Yes.
learn from you.
घर की कहानी है वो. Everybody is really going through that. How do we really have a good, loving relationship? And that relationship we are talking about, like, across, like horizontal and vertical. Right? Horizontal means like, with our spouse, with our like siblings and so on, and horizontal, like vertical means like with our parents, or with our uncle, or with our manager, right? Or like what about subordinates, either it could be our children, or it could be as simple as a maid, or as kind of our team member. It could be anything. Right? How do we really behave just like a gentleman, right? And like, one of our, we'll go through in detail at some point of time. Definitely, right? Like if somebody really takes care of these three relationships, right? Like vertical relationship with our elders, right, our managers, or finally of course to the Lord and to our spiritual master and so on, right? And also with our equals, with our spouse, siblings and so on, and also with our subordinates. It is mentioned that, all the miseries will not touch only, right? Like they say, right? The only problem that we have in this period of time is because of the relationship. And because the relationship are because of the bad communications and the way we really communicate with each other. It's not only what we say, how we say, right? They say, right? And definitely, these are all there, right? Especially once you talk about like the austerity of speech. And the Lord has talked about it. Yeah? And that's there in Bhagavad Gita, and definitely we'll touch upon that subject also. Anything else? Yes, sir.
We have success and failures in life,
Yes.
but our success do not cheer us.
Yes.
Only failures haunt us.
Yes.
How
Yes.
to get?
Yes. For a different kind of people, like this could be different things. Somebody says that during adversity, right? Usually people will come out of it, but you have to really, test somebody. Then you have to give him power, right? Like because most of the times you see, like, right, like somebody just joins into the cricket team and then they get that fame and prestige, and then they really start all kind of stuff, or like somebody gets into a wonderful Ivy college, right? And after that, because of some association, they really go down, right? When success can be really, difficult one. Or like other way also, how do we transform our adversity to prosperity? How do you transform our vipatti to sampatti? Right? How it is possible? And we have heard about it. We have heard about it. How in this battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Pandavas were just 5, right? And they were, being plundered by the Kauravas in so many ways. How they really dealt with it. How Prahlad Maharaj, he was such a small boy. How he dealt. Dealing with his father and with so many difficult circumstances. And then, okay, let's come back to the present situation. Right? Like we hear about our acharyas, like either talk about Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, and even as close as Prabhupada, and so many devotees in all of the areas. How they have really dealt, with this difficult situation, and we'll go in detail about what exactly is the suffering, what is the root cause of suffering, and how we really deal with it. We'll go in detail about it. Please hear, we'll have an exclusive session. How do we really deal with the sufferings? Okay, because that's really common to all. Yes, any other thoughts? Any other thoughts from anyone? Okay, so definitely, right, like as you said, how to get that happiness, unending happiness, right? Like, yes, because this is a very august assembly, that's why nobody asks. Otherwise, whenever you go somewhere, they ask, oh, have you seen God? Can you show us God? Is the God existing somewhere? Right? And if God is there, then why there are so many problems? Right? And but who am I? Am I here just to enjoy Madi or doing something else? Right? Right? Like yes, like as you asked, like why bad things happen to good people, and then why actually if something bad happens, how do we really come out of it? Right? Right? Oh, like this is once again also very frequently asked questions. Okay, if God is there, but then why there are so many religions? Why don't they have only one? Why people talk about fight about okay, this is the best one, right? Like you talked about how do we really control our mind? Which is so difficult to control, right? And okay, what is the real knowledge? How do you really acquire that knowledge? And if I want to do something good, but still somehow I am forced, to do in certain ways. Who is forcing me doing that? And then, okay, like who can be my real mentor? Who can really show me the path? Who will not only show the path, but really walk with me in that path? Is there someone? And as you asked, how can I really apply this principle of Bhagavad Gita in my own life? Right? And this is exactly, right, the content of our Gita course. Right? This Gita course, yes, right, we'll be covering from the different aspects, from the different themes, from the slokas of Bhagavad Gita, but we'll not be going verse by verse, because there are 700 verses are there. Definitely, that is for our next phase. If all of you are willing, we can go as a next phase of Bhagavad Gita. But here, in this part of the Gita course that we are planning for around 9 weeks of Gita course, we'll be really trying to cover by theme, right? Because that's what exactly you are looking for, right? We are really not looking for, right? Definitely, at some point of time, we should go detail into it, verse by verse, what exactly our acharyas have talked about it, right? With the detailed commentary on the detailed verse by verse, and we can really remember them and all that. That we can do in subsequently. But at this point of time, the journey that we have just started, like let's kind of focus on the basics, the foundational blocks, that the questions that we have, that's what exactly we are trying to answer. Are we aligned so far on the agenda of Gita course? But as we discussed, definitely we have a long way to go. We have so many milestones, and we'll try, right, to cover some of the topics in 1 week, and some of the topics maybe we'll try to consolidate 1 or 2 topics. But what is really required from all of you is your support. That yes, you want to be there in the journey, not really, okay, it might happen that somewhere in the journey, right, you might slow down because of the traffic, or might, okay, if you want to take some rest, oh, it's getting too heavy, with so many concepts and so many principles, right, like, we might go a little slower, or you can make it lighter, but this is our journey, and this is my humble request, all of you, is to please be there. Please be there. Once you be there, right, then we'll be able to connect all the dots, and then you'll be able to realize it. Right? Otherwise, we're just trying to get a piece of the puzzle, and where we'll not be able to get that holistic picture what is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody is okay so far? If you are okay, say it loudly, Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Lord is hearing. You have committed to the Lord that yes, you are with us in this journey, and you have shown your interest. Because whenever we share some commitment, whenever we share some thoughts, right, Lord also empowers us. Just like for a child, right? If we seek something sincerely, and the parents, right, they really facilitate that, right? But where it is to start? It is to start with our desire, strong desire, right? That's what we are really looking forward to from all of you, right? Yes, please have that desire that yes, I would really like to know what exactly those principles in Bhagavad Gita, that really answers all these questions. Okay, so once you talk about so many big topics, right? Personally, I already talked about it. Definitely, I don't have any qualification in any way. Yes, I started this journey maybe around 2 decades back while I was doing my masters in IIT Delhi, as Mataji said. There I came in contact with one associate professor, Professor Krishnan. He had returned from NASA. Like he was working very in an elevated role, but then he left and he had joined IIT Delhi. And there, somehow I came to know about this program with one of my friend. And one day I just asked my friend Amit, and I said, okay, I see, right, your all academics is really wonderful, and right, I see you're so disciplined in your assignments, in your life, how it is, right? Then he talked about that, okay, just a couple of years back, if you would have really come across with me, like I was such a 5-pointer, but then yes, I have been going and attending, this sir's class, and it has really benefited me. And I said, okay, maybe, it would not only help, in so many ways, but definitely if you go to professor, maybe you will get a good grade. So, with whatever reason, we just went, and then we finally saw that we not only, right, there was a all group of students were there, but also at the end there was a nice prasada. That was one big motivation, right, to have a break from the hostel food. But then yes, we started our journey trying to understand this philosophy, and he had a very nice magazine called Science and Designs. Because this Bhagavad Gita is all about science, like physics, right, deals with the elements, right, or chemistry deals with the energy, mathematics deals with the numbers, right. And this Bhagavad Gita is also science. This is a science of soul, science of super soul, science of this material world. It really talks about that, right. And what is really required is that to have that that scientist and that your scientist study group, right, have that right enthusiasm so that we can continue, right. It's not just like, unfortunately, people talk about whenever we speak of Bhagavad Gita or our scriptures, they call it a mythology. But this is not mythology. Sorry to say, this mythology, what is a mythology? Myth means myth. Myth means mithya. It's like illusion, like this is not correct, right? All our scriptures, like we call history, aitiha, these are history, right? And somehow, because of various political reasons, whatever, right? All the English people, especially, led by Lord Macaulay and so on, how have they distorted, our Vedic scriptures? They really try to understand these Vedic scriptures to, give a political or a concocted, notion to it, right? But then, can we really make an effort to put some effort, right? Like we go to the, science lab, of course, our students didn't go to college over the last couple of years. But then once you do some practical lab, then we understand, okay, the value of G is how much? Gravitational force? 9.8, okay. But whenever we do some experiment in the lab, somebody gets 12, somebody gets 15, somebody gets then everybody else asks, I think you are bigger than Newton. Come down. It should be 9.8. Right? Like somehow or other, right, we believe, right, in Newton because he has calculated with some ideal conditions. Right? But then we also try to go in this path of spirituality and we expect the result right away. No, I should get the result right away. Right? No, Baba, you have to put that faith. You have to kind of first accept the theorems. Right? Once you accept the theorems and then you go to the higher standards, then you will prove those theorems. Right? But don't try to kind of ask each and everything, show me God, and after that we will really go to kind of believe you. Right? Or first you can just approach a doctor. Oh doctor, first ensure that you kind of write the bond that you really cure me, right? And then I'll kind of come to you. Thank you very much. Please go take your own route, right? So you need to have that faith wherever you're going in a flight. In a flight also an accident. In the doctor also, there are also fake doctors are there. But it's really up to us how sincere we are, right? If we want to be cheated, we'll get a cheater, right? It's really up to us, right? And that's what Prabhupada always says that. If we are clear in our intent, then definitely Lord also will empower us. But we have to pay the price for it. Nothing comes cheap, right? Like sometimes in this theater, right? Like if you like of course here, like because of the wonderful arrangement of this community, I think you come here and watch it free of cost. But if you want to really go to a big theater, you have to pay a price for it. Otherwise, in YouTube or whatever, you get the trailer free of cost. Right? But if you want to watch the proper movie, you have to pay the price. Similarly, spirituality also, here and there we get in glimpses. But if to really get a complete understanding of the spirituality, we have to pay the price for it. Okay. So coming back, right? Okay. This is my first Bhagavad Gita that I had received. You can see here, my teacher there, he had signed it on the 4th September 1909. On the appearance of Srila Prabhupada, I had received this book and I've tried to bring it in my life as much as possible. And once again, the disclaimer is that here, you see here somebody is on the chair. He's not a perfect person. He's a practitioner. He's a practitioner. So, because once you go to somewhere, then we really kind of keep our standards so high, right? Then we are not able to visualize anything else, right? Once again, just a practitioner. We have been just practicing for some time, but it's a really long way to go. But what we have is a little understanding, little experience, and the wonderful living examples that we have associated over the years. Right? We have seen them, how they have practiced these principles of Bhagavad Gita practically in their life. Right? That's what we want to really share with all of you. Right? And yes, after doing my graduation from IIT Delhi, then I was in Germany, Munich for some time, and once I went there with Lord's arrangement, somehow we had taken a house, once again it's a Lord's arrangement that we had taken a house just near to the one ISKCON temple, and there we used to have many big programs, and yes, we used to do wonderful Rath Yatras and Janmastamis and so many festivals, and though personally we come from Odisha, right, like the land of Lord Jagannath, but hardly we had any idea about who is Lord Jagannath and what is the reciprocation of Lord and with his devotees. And when they were asking me, okay, can you tell us about Lord Jagannath? I was really clueless, but I saw that what is kind of devotion they had in their heart, so much of faith in their heart, that really forced me to really learn a little bit more about it. I'm still on this journey, trying to understand it, but it's all because of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples and all his associates. We are trying to get some pebbles on the shore, right? And what kind of a sacrifice Prabhupada has done, right? It's really unlimited, right? Unlimited. We cannot really fathom what he has done for us. So at the age of 70s, right? He traveled from India to the US, because his spiritual master, his guru had told, go and preach in this English language, to the Western countries, without any personal consideration, he traveled with just 40 rupees in a cargo ship. And on the way, he had 2 heart attacks. And then once he reached there, he didn't know where to go, left and right. Some distant known person was there. He took him, and then he went to Pennsylvania, and then he came to New York. And once he came, he was staying in some crazy person's house, and we cannot really believe, right? It's a saint from Vrindavan, how he really lived there, right? And then he started one more extension center in San Francisco, and in San Francisco as well, right? Like they started with all these hippies, right? Without any culture, without any background, and he really transformed, to the emblem of happiness, the hippies to happies, and he has done it. That's why we call this process as a practical process. We can practically experience it. That's what Lord says in 9.2. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam susukham kartumapyayam. This is a blissful process that all of us can experience ourselves. Right? And this is what Srila Prabhupada has proved. How bringing all these people who had no culture, nothing, he had transformed them, to the topmost. Once one reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you really identify your disciples? Prabhupada said, my disciples are perfect ladies and gentlemen. He didn't say that, okay, my disciple means, okay, you'll find them with the chanting of the beats, or you'll find them always reading Bhagavad Gita. No, they should be the perfect ladies and gentlemen. How exactly like Nancy said, how do you really behave with others? How do we have that self-respect for others? How do we self-care for ourselves? How we are making a sincere effort, right, to develop ourselves, to purify ourselves, right? And Prabhupada has really, spent his, sweat and blood, to bring up all these people. And then he sent his 3 disciple couples into London. And then these simple 3 couples, they went to the London, and they really preached, to big celebrities, including the George Harrison. Any of you have heard of George Harrison, Beatles? Right? Like, he has sung beautiful songs called "Oh My Sweet Lord," and so many other things. And he really, these devotees, they really met him, and they really transformed. And there is this, we had this temple in this Bury Street, and I think it was in 71, and Srila Prabhupada had gone there for a book launch. It was organized in the Oxford Street. There is a big hotel called Marble Arches Hotel, and all the devotees, they had planned very, delicately, very in a detailed way, everything, because it's a public program. And then, like including all the arrangements, taking care of the guests, and right, like wonderful opulent prasadam, and so on. Right? They tried their best. On the way, like then Prabhupada returned, from that place, to the temple. And while he was coming back in the car, he had a driver who was driving, one of the devotee, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and there were other 2 devotees. And they saw that, Srila Prabhupada had tears in his eyes during that time. And these devotees, they were really feeling disturbed, They were thinking that, yes, we might have done some mistake because it was a grand program, and definitely Prabhupada is not happy with us. And they asked, what should we do? What should we do? Like, because of, they also, out of respect, they were not able to ask anything. To Srila Prabhupada, they were asking each other, but they didn't have any clue what exactly has gone wrong. But then once Prabhupada reached the temple, one devotee approached Srila Prabhupada, and they said that, Prabhupada, please forgive us. Yes, we don't have any etiquette, we don't have any culture, and definitely you might have done some mistake. And Prabhupada said, why are you saying so? What happened? No, we saw that while coming in the car, you were a little disturbed and you had tears in the eyes. Definitely you might have committed some offense, right, some mistake. Please forgive us. And Srila Prabhupada said that, no, it was a really wonderful program, and I'm really happy. The Lord has sent all of you, to help me. I'm grateful to all of you. Then the devotees asked, why you are crying, Prabhupada? Why you had tears in your eyes, while you are coming back? And Prabhupada saw that, yes, when I was coming, then I saw that, so many people with these 3-piece suits, they were just going around, roaming around everywhere with so much of fast pace, right? Yes, but then how their heart was really so much dark with that ignorance. How they are suffering, but they are not able to recognize. How they are not able to understand this human form of life is so precious, and how they are wasting their valuable energy in so many other things, but they are not able to spend time, for this loving reciprocation of the Lord. How unfortunate it is. He had that tears in his eyes. He was so much compassionate. Because of his compassionate, because once you talk about this preaching, it's not about really, once again, understanding some slokas or some stories or things like that. It's really about the compassion. It's because of Srila Prabhupada's compassion, all of us here. Because out of compassion, he has really stretched a lot. Because he has sacrificed a lot. On the other day, we had a small meeting with our sir, President Sir Ram Prakash sir, and we were talking about that, whenever we want to do something, somebody has to sacrifice. Like as a leader, we're talking about the Samudra Manthan story, right? There was this fighting going on between Devatas and Asuras, right? And there were so many things coming up, and one of the things that came out was also poison, right? And Lord Shiva, he had to sacrifice, and he took the poison, right? So if we want to get the nectar, right? Definitely while churning this churning process, some poison will come out, right? Or you talk about in the relationship, right? We want to build up the relationship, we want to invest on the relationship, we want to, bring that relationship to a standard, stable level, and definitely, there will be some, there will be some conflicts, there will be some difference of opinion, right? But, what is really important at that point of time for you? Is it the relationship, or you want to be right? Right? So, who is sacrificing that? And to run as a big organization and to really transform, now we see that this whole Bhagavad Gita, especially this edition, has been distributed, right? Millions, around 0.5 billion books have been distributed. Right? It's all because of this one person, Srila Prabhupada, and that's his compassion. And now, I heard that in this complex also you are trying to organize Rath Yatra. Right? I heard 1 week Rath Yatra or 9 days of Rath Yatra. Right? And do you know especially who really brought this Lord Jagannath from Odisha, till a couple of years back? Jagannath means he was called as Lord of the Universe, but he was a primarily Odiyanath. Right? He's the Lord of the Odiyas. Right? But then Srila Prabhupada, right? He played a major role, or the pivotal role, right? Bringing Lord Jagannath all over the universe. Now you go to any part of the cities, right? You will find the Lord of the Universe, Jagannath, is really going in the main street. He's going on the main street, and especially I was talking about the Rath Yatra in Munich, where I was staying in Germany, right? Such a wonderful Rath Yatra we used to have in the front. There will be, military parades and the back, they would be really guarding, just like the president of the country is going, right? And such a beautiful march past would be happening. Devotees would be dancing on the street, with so much jolly mood. Right? It's such a beautiful, and how it has been done. How so many millions of people are dancing with so much of, jolly, right? And now you talk about even there is so much of difference. There is of conflict of this country and that country. But I know there are so many families, from Ukraine and Russia, how they are working together. Husband is from Russia, wife from Ukraine, they are serving together. Or if you go to our Mayapur, which is our spiritual headquarters, right? You will see so many families from all over the world. You will find it's like a United Nations. It's a mini United Nations. How they are working together, just taking these fundamental principles of Bhagavad Gita, fundamental principles of spirituality. Right? How we can really understand them, how we can imbibe them, and how we can really practice them, and also how we can really share them. This is the basis through which this organization is spreading. Not with the big management, not with any scholastic, scholarship or anything else. Nothing. It's all about, right, the compassion of Srila Prabhupada that is really driving this whole organization. Right? Okay, so coming back, right, to our today's topic, we just thought that we'll just do a little orientation and introduction. Okay, I think would like to hear from you, right? We named today's topic is also searching for happiness, finding for happiness. So how everybody is searching for happiness? How everyone is searching for, everyone is searching for happiness, but where they are searching, how they are searching? Everybody searching or here, like, no, you don't need happiness. Yes. Oh, how? Like, what do you think? Happiness for you?
Peace of mind.
Yes, sir.
So just peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Okay. Really elevated level.
Idea of happiness is like sometimes it's like a vacation with family. So sometimes it's just like me time, alone time.
Yes. Very good.
I felt happy when I helped others.
Very good. Excellent.
And
Excellent.
I felt really happy when I feed the stray dogs.
Very good. Very
and
good.
cows and all.
Life is meant for sharing others, right? Sharing with others. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What else? I'm really inspired with all of your answers. Any other thoughts?
keeps getting changed.
Yes, yes, very good, very good, very good, right? Our goalpost is always changing. And that's a wonderful thing. We want our happiness, right? What is the attributes of happiness? Okay, we talked about, okay, like, she said, okay, we want to help others, right? Peace of mind, vacation. But what are the attributes of happiness? What are the attributes of happiness? She said that, it should be really ever increasing. Right? It should be ever increasing. And it should be also, there should be variety of mother of enjoyment, right? Like, if you ask anybody in the Bangalore, right? Like, if you ask, oh, I'm staying in a 3 BHK, I don't know, 1600 square foot in a PLH. Oh, wow, that is my aspiration, right? But if you ask somebody now here, oh, no, I like Sir's villa, right? Like somehow, like, if you come to that place, then our goalpost is changing, right? Like for a child, maybe our sense of happiness is something else, and then we go up, our sense of happiness is kind of getting a good grade, getting a good job, getting good salary, good spouse, like good child, right? And then it goes on and on, right? Isn't it? Right? Happiness means, like, yes, it should be, unlimited varieties, and it should be ever increasing, is it? But then what do we get? What do we get?
Momentary.
Yes, like this is what everybody is searching for, right? Some nice car, nice shopping, nice vacation, nice salary, right? Nice pizza, nice food, right? Based on, right, whatever that we might think of. But here, right, what exactly we are getting? Like happiness, like, yes, we want to really usually take care of our need, right? At basic level, right? Happiness means, okay, can I take care of my physiological or physical needs, right? Or if I can take care of our psychological needs, like, peace of mind, or have a good social relationship, right? But even if I have that, right, my physical needs are taken care. Here, definitely all of the members here, or the audience here, their physical needs are very well taken care, right? The psychological needs, like our social needs or emotional needs, definitely, right, we try our best to take care of it. But still, are we happy there? Are we all of us happy here? Yes, to some extent. Happy, but
Searching for another happiness.
we search for another happiness, yes.
Next step.
So we're looking for next happiness. Why? Because we are looking for this, to have a nice house, a nice job, or this person, if I get married to that person, my life will be jinda lala.
It's like that statement some time back I heard, like, I am like a dog chasing for something, but if I get it, I don't know what to do. So it's like, if you are chasing for something, you get it, you don't know, it is happy, you are happy, you got something or not, then you start looking for something else.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
even if
we
you
don't
want
know
to-
what exactly we are looking for.
So the thing what I understand, it's like, if you don't look for something, just enjoy the journey, that's all.
Okay.
If you're looking outside, then you won't find happiness.
Okay, very good. Yes, right. So, yes, most of the times, we are just going left and right, somewhere we are left, which is not Right. Right. So, okay. How the need, get transformed into grid. Let's see, from our monkey friend, because from the very beginning we have heard that we have come from monkeys. See, he's getting his physical needs are taken care, isn't it? He's getting as much he wants, but what is he doing? He's trying to get more and more and more and more, right? But then, still, once a while, right? He's looking back. Why he's looking back?
If somebody's coming.
Right? So he always has a fear. Somebody else is coming and taking care. Right? I got a new car. I go in this traffic of this Vartur Lake. I see somebody is really making a mark there. I always hanker for something, and then at the present moment I have so much of anxiety. Right? Right? Yes, we might be laughing at this small video, right? But isn't our life is also like that?
Yes.
Isn't our life is like that, right? That's why, in Bhagavad Gita, it is very beautifully given this framework. It's called that whatever the pleasures that we are looking for in this material world, right? Or we call the sense pleasures. It has three attributes. What are those three attributes? We'll just come here and I will just learn this verse. Yehi sansparsaja bhoga dukkha yena evate adi antavanta konteya nate su ramate buddha. What does it say? The pleasure of this material world has three properties. What is three properties? It has a beginning and an end. Whatever the pleasure that we are talking about, right? We are talking about changing the milepost, right? It has a beginning and end. You got a new job, then okay, you're looking for the next one, right? What are our sense of pleasure that whatever that we can think of at any point of time, it will have a beginning and end. And then second one is that whatever the pleasure that you are looking for, definitely it will come with a package, buy one get one free. With the pleasure, definitely some pain will come. There is no pleasure that you will get in this material world without any pain. Okay? And third thing is that, yes, it is limited. It is limited. Because our senses are limited, we cannot enjoy. There will be always a craving will be there. Right? So if you want to get you think that my happiness is to get the best super dream job, like usually it's difficult to attain. Even if with your intellect, with luck, or with your hard work or talent you get it, you attain it. Can you release it? You ask whoever working in FANGs. I know some of you would be working in FANG or which or whatever company you talk about, especially millennial guys, they talk about it, right? They work it like because of work-life balance or because of something else, they start crying after that. Oh, what I joined that company. Oh, he's having a wonderful vacation. He's really doing this or that. We start comparing, and then even if we have a super dream job, we start crying. Right? We are not able to release because our working condition, or it could be my boss, or it could be the pressure, or whatever it is. Right? You have to pay price for it. Right? Even if you attain it, you release it, you got a wonderful boss. How long can you maintain it, retain it? Can you retain it? That's why, our Acharya is saying, this, Adi antavanta konteya na teisu ramate buddha. The intelligent person, they don't really look for the happiness of this material world. Yes, we are looking for happiness because this is our characteristics. Why you are looking for happiness? Because in Vedanta Sutra 1.1.2 already said that we are the soul, and the soul's property is anandamayo bhyasat. Our soul is always pleasure seeking. You understand? Why you are seeking for pleasure? Because this is our quality. Like Lord is Satchit Ananda. He's a Bibhu. We are Anu. We have some qualities, right? That's the reason we would really like to get that pleasure. We would really like to get that pleasure. But then, like we are searching this pleasure in a wrong place with the wrong tools. We are hunting that pleasure in the wrong place, in the wrong tool. It's like have you seen like a fish trying to climb the tree? Can you get the happiness? No. Our acharyas are saying that, yes, this place, right, is a danger at every step. Padam padam yad vipadam natesa. We work so hard, just like honeybee, and then it's just a matter of time, right? The farmer will come and take the honey, and we suffer, right? Isn't it? Or just let me give you one more example here. We got let's say washing machine, and it's a nice ad comes. This washing machine 60% discount with beautiful functionalities and so on. At the same time, when you get this washing machine, and the first one itself, your clothes will be chopped up, and once you will get a sock. If you are lucky, you will get a light sock. How many of you will buy it? How many of you will buy it? We are laughing at it, but most of you are buying this. This body, or the pleasure that we are asking, is like that. We said, the pleasure of this material world is having those conditions. Whatever we are asking for, adi anta vanta koneya. Like it is always pregnant with the pain. It's a BOGO, buy one, get one. Pleasure, the pain will come. But Lord is saying also that, yes, this life is full of problems. With the birth or with the old age or disease or death, I don't think we have to talk about it because we have recently gone through it. Like somebody might say that, oh, birth, how it is painful. Anybody says labor pleasure? Anybody say labor pleasure, labor pain? Why? Because it's a painful for both child and mother. Because sometimes we say, oh, we have not experienced it. But mother or child both experience it. Right? Or we talk about the old days, how it is so old days, not only physically, emotionally, you feel so tormented, right? Over the disease, let's not talk about it, what everybody has gone through it, or the death, how it is so painful. Nobody wants to die, right? Or if you, think that, okay, I can really delay it, but then always there is some kind of calamities, right? Because of the earthquake or some this or that, or because of some other living entity, spouse or manager or mosquito, because I thought it's such a nice complex, but always there is a mosquito. Another complex I had gone with a nice villa, another snacks all around. Right? Or the most prevalent disease that hardly anybody is escaping right now at this point of time is because of our body and most importantly mind. Right? The stress, we talk about USA, which is the most technologically advanced, and my dear friends, the 20% of all depressants in all over the world is sold in USA. Right? Every person, they really have an appointment during the year with the psychiatrist. This is what we are trying to imitate, and this is what definitely we are trying to get it. Right? And there are some startling statistics, guys. I think some of you might have heard recent news, what had happened in US. You heard that? Like this. Earlier, once you talk about the student, complaints in the college, what was happening? Oh, in the 1970s, they had a survey. What is that? Chewing gum is the problem. Or, okay, sitting in the back and speaking is a problem. Or throwing chalk, that is a problem. But now, what are the problems people are talking about in USA, in the schools and colleges? Gun shooting, pregnancy, drugs. This is our advancement? Violence, suicide. Right? How much children they are going through so much of problem, right? Friends, now what is happening? Now in India, do you know which country, right, or especially which city you can say, the highest in the teenage suicide? Do you know? Yes, it is Bangalore. It is Bangalore, our friends. It's Bangalore. It's not we are talking about we used to hear about the suicides of the farmers. No, right? Just I think last year or so, right? In a Prasti Santiniketan, right? It had happened, right? And so many things are happening, so many places, right? Why, the teenager? What happened in Hyderabad recently, right? Or I think last week only there was one gun shooting incident, just an 18-year-old teenager boy, and he went and go to the primary schools, and what exactly he did? Why it is happening? Why it is happening like that? Why it is happening? Any thoughts? Most of the times, next day there will be uproar, there will be outcry. Oh, we have to do this, we have to, stop this licensing of these guns, or we have to take care of this, or parents have problem, this problem, that problem. But anything happens after that? How long this will continue? Right? if we don't take responsibility of ourselves, we don't take responsibility of our children, right? We don't take responsibility of our community. Who will take care of it? Who will do it? This is what is happening. This is coming. And this is what we see everywhere. But what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? Any solution that like this modern science is having for all this? Any solution it has? Any solution? What exactly is going on? Right? People are getting frustrated about it. Right? But what is the solution about it? But yes, right? We hear that. Yes, because we are living like in life of animal. Just we are like just eating like animals. We are sleeping like animals. And now we are just enjoying with our opposite sex like animals. We are just trying to defend ourselves. But then at the end we remain like animals. The only difference that we can really make it ourselves is having that understanding what exactly is that the higher intelligence Lord has given to us, right? That I can really use it, making a better world. It's not that people say, "Oh, make these things better," right? Can we make people better? Can we invest in ourselves? Can we just have that self-awareness? Can we have that self-care? Can we have that self-empowerment? Can we really understand a little bit more about ourselves? Otherwise, right? Yes, we try to understand it through the tradition, but nowadays hardly anybody cares about the tradition. People talk about, oh, everybody is doing it, let's do it. This is the culture of this moment. And somebody says, oh, no, this is my mood. The children, they feel that, oh, I want to study now, I don't have any mood, I'll not do it. I like to study now. Everybody is going somewhere, everybody is doing some puja, I'll also do this puja, everybody is doing this, so I'll do this. Either culture, tradition, or some mood, or some logic, or whatever comes, that we want to do it. But these are all ever changing. Right? But what is that fixed lighthouse? Is there any fixed lighthouse that we can really say that is the absolute truth and that we can really follow it? And yes, my friends, Lord has given this manual. When He has really prepared this body, right? He has given us a manual through which we can operate it. And this manual is nothing but this Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita, right, really gives that solution. That yes, if somebody is really lost, let's say, diamond ring somewhere, right? And then, right, one other person was asking, oh, what are you doing here? No, I'm searching for my diamond ring. Where you are searching? No, I lost it on the other street, but somehow, right, I'm kind of searching. Why you are searching it here if you lost it there? No, because there is a light here. Right? Because everybody is kind of doing it, I am also doing it. Or because there is an opportunity here, I am doing it. But here, Prabhupada is saying that where exactly we can find our real happiness. Right? The real happiness is really described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita that He has given to Arjuna in these books of Bhagavad Gita. And here, right, like as we talked about, right, we really need to understand that why this fish is not happy. We cannot make the fish happy by just taking care of that physical need or psychological need. By just giving that nice gulab jamun or samosa or any other sweets. If you want to make the fish happy, really at home, then you have to keep it in the water. Similarly, we have to understand that yes, we cannot remain happy by just taking care of our physical need or physiological needs or psychological need. There is an important aspect that is required, the spiritual need. Because of that, our heart is vacuum and we are looking for everywhere. And He said, yes, how we can look within, right? To nourish our spiritual need. Unless we nourish ourselves, everywhere there will be starvation, there will be malnourishment, right? And that's what Bhagavad Gita is all talking about. That yes, everything else, they are really the zeros. Because whatever we have here, at the end of their life, we're not going to take anything. We're not going to take anything. They are all zeros. Anybody has come with something and they will take something to the next life, right? Whatever we might have, right? But then, all these things that we have, we can really utilize it, for the service of the Lord and His devotees. Once we bring everything, and utilize it in the service of the Lord and all the humanity, right? It becomes an asset. It doesn't become a liability after that. We can dovetail. Tail, you see, there's a 12. So all these zeros are the tails, but the dove, the head is the dove, right? So, like whatever we have, we can really dovetail in the service of the Thakurji, in the service of the humanity, for the pleasure of the Lord, sharing whatever we have with others, right?
We don't take karmas to next birth.
Yes, it is. Right? Then otherwise how? A child, there's a detailed season that will talk about the karma. Otherwise, why somebody is born in the silver spoon, why somebody is born in the street? Why two kids of maybe the same parent or even twins, they follow the different path? Definitely they carry something. That's why we all talk about reincarnation and karma. And definitely we'll discuss in detail about that. That yes, and Lord has given that where to search for happiness. How we have to accept the reality. The creator of this whole world, Lord Krishna, he has defined, what is the characteristics of the product. Like, if you ask something about Microsoft or let's say, you have to ask, right, the CEO, like Satya Nadella, or you have to ask something about Facebook, definitely the best person to know about is, Zuckerberg. Right, like here, if you want to know something about material world, all the living entities, you have to ask Lord Krishna who has created this. And he is saying that what? Mam upatya punarjanma dukhalayam asaswatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gata. He is saying that this whole world is having two properties. Dukhalayam and asaswatam. Dukhalayam, this is a place of misery. And this is a temporary place. Whatever you get, this is not for permanent. This is so important to accept the reality. Please don't look for the happiness here that you think that you can really enjoy permanently. This is not the place. Right? But once you come to me, definitely you can really have a paramamgata. There will be Vaikuntha. There is no misery. But this place is not a hotel, but it's a hospital. This is not a place for enjoyment. But this is the place for correction, for purification. We have come here. Because of our so much diseased condition, we thought we want to be proprietor, controller, enjoyer. We have come here. Right? But now we have come to this place where we can really get rid of this disease of me and mine, aham and mama. Right? And how we'll feel that yes, there is a Supreme Lord, there is a trustee. We are the trustee, right? Like here also, here in this community or wherever we are operating as a trustee. Right? Then there is so much of, it's not a trustee, means we are running away from our responsibilities of a family or whatever the property or what are the responsibility. We are not running away from it. Right? But we don't have that ownership mentality. Right? Because that proprietorship, controllership and enjoyership, there is a ever increasing lust, anger and greed. And these are the three gateways to the hell. In Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned. Right? So this is another beautiful understanding is that yes, Lord talking about the problem is Dukhalayam asaswatam, but he is also saying there is a treatment also here. Right? Yes, like the knife can be used to kill and also to save in the hand of the surgeon. But similar this material world, when Devatas they really look forward to come to this material world. But this is the place where there is sufficient pleasure and also trigger to go back to the supreme abode. Right? And Lord is saying that not only you have to really wait, right, to go to the next birth, even in this material world, even in a working condition like this, Yasya hare dasya karmana manasa gira nikhilasu apyavastasu jivan muktasya uchyate. And our acharyas are saying that even in this material world, by using our manasa, gira and karmana manasa gira, we can make our life perfect. Jivan muktasya uchyate. Right? And this is what Lord is saying. Yes, we are not like here to just enjoy or to reject, right? But to really engage. We are not here to demonize, okay, right? This is not for me, I want to just vityagi, neti. Or we are not saying that, this is for my enjoyment. Just romanticize, this whole world. No, Lord is saying that you utilize whatever you have. You be a yogi. What is the meaning of yogi? What is the meaning of yogi? Use. Yoga comes from the word called use. Use means to connect. What to connect with this sense enjoyments? No. Connect with the Supreme Lord. Connect with the Supreme Lord. Yoga means to connect. And Bhagavad Gita talks about 3 yogas. It talks about karma yoga, it talks about jnana yoga and bhakti yoga. Right? Like especially in the first 6 chapters, it talks about karma yoga. What is the art of working? How should we work in a selfless way? How should we work in a detached way? What is the mode through which we should work, right? And then last 6 chapters, it talks about, right, yes, through which understanding, how we should really understand it. What is the material, what is the nature of this material world, right? What are the different modes through which we are really getting affected. And then middle 6th chapter talks about bhakti. How do you really engage everything in the service of the Lord? So we try to summarize this Bhagavad Gita in these 3, you can say, key points. Bhagavad Gita talks about art of working, that's a karma yoga. That is the karma yoga, first 6 chapters. Then middle 6th chapter talks about for whom? For my enjoyment? No, for Krishna. And then is it that art of working in the next life? No, while living in this material world. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. How we can work, right? In which mode we should work, what we should work, how do we work, and for whom we should work, and while living in this material world, we are staying in this householder life as a student or as a housewife or as an employer or as a chairman of the company, it doesn't matter. How we can really do that nicely, right? It talks about the 5 subject matters, we'll go in detail about that, right? But what we are trying to say is that, yes, Lord talks about the problems of this life, but also He's giving a solution. He's saying that, Daiviyesa gunamai mama maya duratya mameva ya prapatyante maya metam tarandite. Yes, this material world, the so-called problems are very difficult to overcome, but it can be done once you surrender to me, once you connect with me. Yes, the power of Bhagavad Gita, we might be in a stressed, anxiety or distressed, depressed condition, but it can really transform. You see that how Arjuna was there in the first chapter, and at the end of the 18th chapter, he had that clarity of thoughts, he had that purity of consciousness, and whole victory is awaiting for him. Yes, that is really what we're talking about transformation. That exactly we talked about. Yes, it's not about getting the information into the head, but about transforming our heart, that's the purity of our consciousness, and how we can really have that victory by acting appropriately. Right? This is the kind of a journey that we are talking about. While